that we are referring to is an Air India Express flight, and again you see over here how it has been circling for the past 2 hours. We're learning at this point of time that there was a snag from the start. There is, in fact, we're being told that there is going to be a belly landing. So these are again major developments coming in from Tamil Nadu at this point of time. Ramesha on the telecast with me. Ramesha, what exactly has happened and what are the latest developments coming in?
Flight took off by 5:40 p.m. When it going off, it was the technical snag reported. Wheels not folded in. Hydraulic problem reported. So the pilot alerted the ground that it had some technical snag, so it is not going to move towards the Sharjah, and they started circulating in the Trichy area itself. They are circulating by around 35 kilometers. They are circulated since 5:40 p.m. Still they are circulating now, moving towards some distance area to burn out the fuel. It said that it could be landed after 1 hour. Before that, the district administration and authorities started emergency works, and they have made around 35 ambulances. Fire tenders are prepared to, if any casualties happens, it may take another 1 hour to ground it in the nearby airport. They are prepared already. Ambulances are there and the fire tenders are prepared for the any casualties whatever it happens. To prevent any blast and other things, they have made the fuel to be burned out in the sky itself, so they are circulating in the air itself now, madam.
Right, absolutely, Ramesha. There are 141 passengers on this plane. Now, viewers, I'm going to quickly show you over here. We are tracking in fact, the plane as it goes. Again, I was telling you, Air India Express 613 is the name of the flight, AXB 613, and it had in fact taken off from Tiruchirappalli at 5:44 p.m. It is now expected to, it was in fact expected to make an arrival in Sharjah at 10:18 p.m. But we of course know what is happening at this point of time. It has been circling for the past 2.5 hours is what reports are indicating. And again, there are 141 people on this flight. Remember, the departure time, the gate departure was at 5:40 p.m. IST. Takeoff happened at 5:44, and I'm going to request my PCR to show exactly the details that we are tracking at this point of time as far as this flight is concerned. Remember, gate departure at 5:40 p.m. Takeoff took place at 5:44 p.m. and for the past 2.5 hours, this plane has been circling about. See, the arrival of the plane in the United Arab Emirates was supposed to be 10:08 p.m. and the gate arrival was supposed to be at 10:18 p.m. But for now, what we're learning at this point of time is that 2 hours, 29 minutes, remember 2.5 hours have elapsed, and this plane has been circulating since. So this is again the development that is, we're tracking for you at this point of time. Remember, Air India Express 613, AXB 613 is the plane that we are referring to. It did in fact take off from Tiruchirappalli, India, and it was expected to make an arrival in the United Arab Emirates, Sharjah at 10:18 p.m. But again, what we are learning at this point of time, with what we're tracking, 2 hours and 30 minutes have gone by and this plane has been just circling about. We are being told that there was a snag in this Air India Express flight from the beginning, and we're also in fact understanding at this point of time that 141 in fact passengers are on this plane. So there again, there is a landing issue that we are learning at this point of time. There was a snag in this plane since the takeoff. Ramesha, you're still with us on the broadcast. 141 passengers. What are the kind of preparations at this point of time at the Trichy Airport?
Yes, the authorities are in emergency mode. They are talking with the other experts how to land it, how to make emergency preparations. So far, ambulances and fire tenders are there in the airport, and they have prepared one kind of a small kind of hospital inside the airport. And at the same time, they are taking sought the consultation with IAF and Chennai and other area people, other area important places where the experts consultations are taken. They are on the move to get this whatever the preparations they are required procedures they are following. The whatever the procedures they had, they are following it.
Right, so we are again, you know, what I'm going to show you viewers over here at this point of time is the flight and how it's been going about. You can see over here, and I'm going to request my PCR to zoom into this a little more so that you get an understanding on the kind of, in fact, how this plane has just been revolving in one location. I'm going to zoom in as much as I can over here to give you a better understanding. This is the situation on ground. 2 hours 30 minutes have lapsed, and this is the plane's trajectory. It was supposed to land in UAE at 10:18 p.m. but because of a technical snag, it has been circling about. It has just been turning about for the last 2.5 hours. See, emergency has of course been called at the Trichy Airport. 15 ambulances have already arrived. 18 fire engines have been kept on standby. And this is the trajectory of the plane that was in fact supposed to arrive in UAE at 10:18 p.m. You see of course over here, this is the situation on ground where in fact being told that there's of course a snag in the plane. There are 141 passengers on this plane, 35 ambulances currently on standby. Again, 15 ambulances stationed at the airport. We can of course now see the trajectory, and we continue to see the trajectory over here. I'm going to quickly play it out for the viewers once again so you get an understanding on how this plane has just been circling about near the Trichy Airport since the start. Ramesha on the telecast with me. Ramesha, what are the details that we are getting at this point of time? See, we know that there are 35 ambulances that are now on standby, but what are the kind of preparations that one is looking into? Have the family members of these 141 passengers been informed about this situation on ground?
As the media reports came in, the people who came for send-off to their beloved one, they are stayed off there itself in the Trichy Airport. They are also in tension. Most of the passengers, relatives in the airport itself, and the people who got messages after this incident, they are all returning back to the airport. At the same time, the authorities
I just want to understand from you, has the landing already happened? What is the situation right now? We just want to understand.
Now landing preparations are made. It is going to land now. What the preparations are going? They are consulting with IAF and other people. They are giving their suggestions how to land, how to make it, emergency procedures, how to be prepared, and other things are doing there.
Okay, all right. Ramesha, do we know what time the landing is expected to take place? Is there any clarity on that front so far?
As for now, they need to burn out all the fuel in the flight. It may take another 15 to 45 minutes, what the pilots are saying. It may take another 15 to 45 minutes, what they are telling. In the meantime, they had consultation with IAF and other experts who are already worked with these kind of emergencies. They are getting their consultation, what are all the preparations need, and the suggestions they are sending through SOSs and other things to the other means to the flight pilots who are operating there. They are been constant touch with these experts. They are giving all the suggestions. It is said that it could be landed very safely, as it's not a bigger thing. This kind of things happened earlier in various places. The hydraulic jacks which doesn't work during the flight takeoff. It happened in many times. Now they are saying it could be safely landed. What the confidence that experts are expressed now. Yeah.
All right, Ramisha, and what about the family members of the 141 passengers? What about that?
But concerned, they are in tension, how it could be landed, they are in with the various dilemmas, they are discussing themselves, but authority is not talking to them because they are in the tension of getting this flight to be safely landed. They are preparing for other things, so whatever the emergency requirements there, they are doing it with the district authority and state government. At the meantime, passengers' relatives who are in the airport, they are being sent to some safest places in the nearby airport. They have been stayed there and they have been updated with the whatever the things going on in the air. They have been told their confidence have been built up that it could be landed safely like that. Yeah.
Right, absolutely. And of course, as far as let's also talk about the Tamil Nadu government. What, is there anything that they've put out so far?
As the information came in, district authority have sent ambulances and necessary government doctors and other hospitals also prepared. Apart from government hospitals, the private hospitals also prepared, and the beds have been prepared for the whatever the necessity required. And the same time, expert doctors also told to be prepared for any kind of requirements. And important doctors who are the emergency requirements are there. They are all called off to the hospitals, and they are told not to leave the hospital till the next instruction. This is what the health ministry secretary told in the Chennai. At the same time, they are asked any important medicine and any important things required. They will help out from the Chennai or nearby Madurai and other places. As far as Trichy is concerned, they have a good government hospital also there, and even private medical college is also there. So as far as medical hospital is concerned, there could be not be any delay or experts concerned. They have all the necessary experts also. Some of the doctors already sent to the airport. They prepared one mini hospital there itself. At the same time, police force also sent to the place where emergency landing prepared.
Right, absolutely. In fact, joining us at this point of time is Mr. Vipul Saxena. He is, in fact, an aviation expert. So thank you so much for taking out time and speaking to us on NewsX. 141 passengers on this flight. Emergency is, of course, declared at the Trichy Airport. How do you view these developments that we're now tracking from Tamil Nadu?
So the latest is that the aircraft has already landed safely. The situation is that aircraft do have hydraulic systems which basically take care of smooth operation of the aircraft. And if that goes malfunction, then there's problem in handling the aircraft, especially the landing and takeoff. And that is where the problem was. But now finally, aircraft will land safely. I got the information. So I think that's a good news.
Right, absolutely. Requesting you to stay on with us. In fact, Group Captain MJ Augustine also with us on the broadcast. So thank you so much for taking our time and speaking to us on NewsX. Now, we now know that the flight has landed safely. How do you then view the developments that have now taken place in the last 2.5 hours since this plane was circling out and about above the Trichy Airport?
Yeah, this was a standard operating procedure when you have any kind of undercarriage issue. Especially when you're going to Sharjah, you will be carrying something like 11 tons of fuel. So there is, I want to explain this to our viewers, and being a current airline captain, coming from me makes that much more reassuring probably, is there is a weight with which you can take off, there is a weight with which you can land. So the weight with which you can take off is much, much higher. The weight with which you can land is much lower, almost nearly 7 to 8 tons less than the max takeoff weight. So to land, especially when you are in an undercarriage issue, the best thing is to burn up fuel, for which if you noticed, like you showed it on your news as well, it was at 4,000 feet. At 4,000 feet, you burn much more fuel. And then you fed in for an approach, and as I was live on another channel, we covered live as to how they landed successfully. So the aim of orbiting was to reduce the fuel, and we practice this every 6 months during our something called instrument rating training and check. And every pilot in India is expected to pass this. If not, further training is given. So it's every 6 months, irrespective of however senior you are, you go through this check, you go through this training. And that is how seriously DGCA and Ministry of Civil Aviation looks at training and being prepared for the eventuality is, and which paid off today. As we can see today, they successfully landed, and all the relatives and of the passengers are giving a sigh of relief. And I can also say another aeroplane would have been positioned in this time. All these passengers in a couple of maybe 1 or 2 hours from now will be proceeding to Sharjah, and this aeroplane will be taken up for maintenance.
Right,
so that is the long and short of how it happened.
Right, absolutely. Even as we speak, the Ministry of Civil Aviation has now put out a statement regarding this very particular news that we're tracking. They said that the Air India Express flight IX613 from Tiruchirappalli to Sharjah has landed safely at Tiruchirappalli Airport. The DGCA has been monitoring this situation. The landing gear was opening is what they've written, and apart from that, they've also mentioned that the flight has landed normally. The airport has been put on alert mode. And those are in fact the visuals that are coming in at this point of time. But you know, again, this we're lucky to see that there has been a safe landing. In fact, I'm going to show you a visual at this point of time of this particular flight that has successfully landed. 141 flights, 141 passengers, I beg your pardon, were there in this flight. We are being told that these are visuals that are coming in at this point of time as far as the Air India flight is concerned. Of course, they're rather dark, but again, these are the visuals that we are tracking for you. The flight has fortunately landed safely is what we're learning at this point of time. Remember, the Ministry of Ministry of Civil Aviation, I beg your pardon, has now put out a statement saying that there has been a safe landing. 141 passengers have been they have made a safe landing is what we're learning at this point of time. These again visuals are coming in from the landing, the successful landing that has taken place. Remember, the airport, the Trichy Airport, has been put on alert mode. We are also being told that there are flights that have now been diverted at this point of time. Remember, there is an emergency situation over there, although the flight has landed safely, but there are again ambulances over there, and 35 ambulances, we're being told at this point of time. All the family members of the passengers, 141 passengers, have been informed, and these are again landing visuals. Ramesha is in fact back with us on the broadcast. Ramesha, we also now have visuals of the flight, and the fact that it has landed safely is good news. But give our viewers an understanding on the developments that are taking place at the Trichy Airport. When are these passengers going to come out of the plane?
Yes, the confidence of the airport authority and the pilot who running that flight has made this safe landing and saved all the 141 passengers and pilots. They are safely landed in Trichy Airport, and they are now moving towards airport the corridor, and they have been taken to the given some kind of rest, and some people who are told that they have some tension and they experienced a trauma, they are all been given some psychological
Ramesha, as we speak, these are visuals that are coming in from the flight that has just made a successful landing. You can see, of course, people sitting over there patiently waiting to exit this flight, and you see, of course, these are the visuals that are coming in from the Air India flight that has just made a landing. These are exclusive visuals that we're tracking for you on NewsX. Remember, the flight has made a safe landing at the Trichy Airport. 141 passengers were on this Air India flight, which has now made a safe landing. The Ministry of Civil Aviation has put out a statement regarding the safe landing that has taken place. And of course, there are 35 ambulances and a lot more. There are ambulances. There are, of course, there was a lot of preparedness on the Trichy Airport before we got the good news. But again, visuals on your screen, exclusive visuals from inside the flight that has now made a safe landing at the Trichy Airport. This is good news. And again, exclusive visuals that we have over here for you. Ramesha, when are these 141 passengers going to now exit this flight? Ramesha, please unmute yourself. Right, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Yes,
Please go
the
ahead.
authorities have to.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, authorities have to check the flight things, and they have to check the hydraulic, whatever the technical snag they found during the takeoff. They have to check it and repair it. That is the one option. And another thing, if any major problem is there, they have to make alternative arrangements.
Sorry, Ramesha, I'm so sorry. I'm going to interject you there. Visuals of the flight landing. Here are the visuals. The good news, this flight has now landed safely. We have the visuals right over here for you. The flight that was carrying 141 passengers has now made a safe landing. The question is, when are these passengers going to now exit the flight? And again, this is good news that's coming in at this point of time. Remember, 2 hours, 2.5 hours is the time for which, during which this in fact flight was circling, in front of the Trichy Airport, up the Trichy Airport, and now of course a safe landing has been made. It was supposed to move to UAE, but now there's a safe landing that has been made. Exclusive visuals flashing right on your screens of this landing and this successful landing that has taken place. Ramesha, back to you. Give our viewers an understanding on the passengers, and when is it that they're going to now exit this flight? What are the checks that are taking place?
Yes, what information I am getting now is all the 141 passengers to be stayed at nearby hotels now. Their next flight to be fixed after some time. They need to conduct a total examination of that flight, and then they will decide when it could be takeoff should be done, or they have to change any other flight. This is to be decided later. Before that, they want these 141 passengers to come out from this traumatic experience. So they all are to be stayed at some nearby hotels now, and then they will decide what kind of a flight they are going to board for next flight to Sharjah.
Right, absolutely. Again, Ramesha is saying that you very rightly mentioned it's a very traumatic experience that these 141 passengers have had to go through. But we're also learning at this point of time that all the passengers are safe. We of course showed you exclusive visuals earlier from inside the flight, where you can of course see everyone patiently sitting on their seats. So that's of course the development that we are tracking on the broadcast. But Ramesha still with us on the broadcast. Again, exclusive visuals flashing on your screens of the landing, the safe landing that has taken place. 141 passengers on the plane that was expected to go to Sharjah, UAE, now landed at the Trichy Airport. We're learning that all the 141 passengers are safe. They're now just waiting to exit the plane, and these are again visuals that are coming in. Left side, you can see the visuals of the plane while it was landing, and on the right side you of course see the successful landing of this plane that was carrying 141 passengers. But Ramesha is still with us on the broadcast. Ramesha, what is the clarity that we have regarding of course what caused major this scare? What exactly led to it?
Yes, as for now, they are told when the flight takeoff taken place, within 5 minutes, the pilot gave a SOS that wheels that used to be used in the takeoff, it has not folded in. So the jacks and the hydraulic jacks not worked inside. So they made it is an emergency, and it is a very serious issue while taking off of the flight, and if the flight moves on that air after some distance, it could be a major problem. So they made not to go outside the area nearby airport. It has been circulated for 2.5 hours. They circulated around 35 to 100 kilometers of radius, around 4 to 5 rounds of circulated, and then they burnt out all the fuel, then landed safely after burning the fuel, because without burning the fuel, if landed, there could be any, during the emergency landing, there could be any blasts and other things could be happened. So they took all the precautionary measures to safeguard the passengers and the pilot. So they burned fuel in the air itself and then landed safely in the Trichy Airport.
Right, absolutely. We, of course, now a statement has been released by the Air India Express spokesperson. He said that this was a precautionary landing and no emergency was declared. These are again the developments that we are tracking for you as far as the landing of this plane is concerned. Ramesha is still with us on the broadcast. Ramesha, what more details do you have for us at this point of time? What are the kind of preparation that has been now put in place at the Trichy Airport? And let's also in fact talk about the situation. You know, I'm assuming there are a lot of flights that have been diverted due to this landing that's now been made.
Now the emergency has been called off. Now the Trichy Airport going to be normal after landing this one. All the passengers are now exited from the this traumatic conditions. All are in safe place. Now they are called off the emergency, and now the whatever the incoming flights should be there, it will come as usual. Only 3-4 flights has been diverted, which could be come again into the Trichy Airport. What authorities are saying, there is no any big casualties or any diversions are taken.
Right, absolutely, and that's happy news that there has been a successful landing at the Trichy Airport. Again, good news coming in. All 141 passengers are safe. On that note, I take a quick short break. Thank you so much for watching.
अब आया असली स्वाद।
अब आया स्वाद।
जब स्वाद के पड़े हो लाले तो MDH का चंकी चाट मसाला डालें। MDH का चंकी चाट मसाला।
MDH।
दादी के हाथों का जादू और खुशबू से महकता घर। MDH गरम मसाला, असली मसालों से भरा हूँ मैं,
क्योंकि हर रिश्ता है स्वाद से जुड़ा।
मम्मा, तुला माहितीये वास्को द गामा मसाल्यांच्या शोधात भारतात आला होता।
मसाल्यांच्या शोधात? अरे हो, त्याच्याकडे उमेद मार्ट ऍप नसेल ना, म्हणून। म्हणजे आता मसाले, पापड, लोणची, अगरबत्ती, तूप या सगळ्या गोष्टी उमेद मार्ट ऍप वर विकत मिळतात।
ओ, वास्को द गामा पेक्षा हुशार माझी मम्मा।
बचत गटांच्या वस्तू विक्रीला ऑनलाईन मार्केट दिले। आपलं सरकार, लाडकं सरकार।
MDH की देगी मिर्च, देगी मिर्च का तड़का, अंग अंग फड़का। MDH की देगी मिर्च।
आपके घर के खाने में रेस्टोरेंट जैसा स्वाद ले आए MDH का शाही पनीर मसाला। पनीर को क्या मस्त बना डाला।
Hello and welcome. You're watching NewsX and I'm Megha Sharma. Pakistan has witnessed yet another terror strike in the rest of Balochistan province. At least 20 miners have been killed and there are 7 others who have been reportedly injured after unidentified gunmen attacked a coal mine in Duki district east of Quetta. This attack comes just days after the killing of 3 people, which included 2 Chinese nationals in a suicide bomb attack near the Karachi airport. The attackers reportedly targeted the Junaid Coal Company mines. Witnesses claim that the attackers fired rockets, lobbed grenades at the mines and damaged the machinery before fleeing the site. Locals have begun a sit-in protest against the deaths. Meanwhile, an investigation has also been launched to identify and apprehend the perpetrators. This comes ahead of the SCO summit, which is being hosted by Islamabad. External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar and the Chinese President Xi Jinping will be in attendance. With the recent attacks and the killing of the 2 Chinese nationals and now yet another attack in Balochistan, will this be impacting the safety and security of the delegates who will be arriving in Pakistan for the SCO summit? And how is Pakistan going to end this reign of terror that is biting it in its own home ground? Joining me on the telecast is Ambassador Suresh Goyal. Ambassador Goyal, unfortunately, there has been yet another terror attack that has taken place in Balochistan. This is not the first time an attack such as this of such magnitude and even bigger has taken place in Balochistan, in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa and other parts of Pakistan. But the important question is, can these attacks be related to the SCO summit that is taking place?
Megha, there is clearly no doubt that the intensity and the frequency of the attacks, I refuse to call them terrorist attacks, call them whatever you want. These are attacks as claimed by the Balochistan Liberation Army. And as I maintained, there are organizations who have different objectives. They have an objective and they're using all kinds of tactics. They're using extremist methods in their approach. But frequency of these attacks is different, and the intensity would definitely increase as the SCO summit comes closer, because it serves the political objective of creating that kind of apprehension, fear and concern in the minds of both the Pakistan government and those who are coming to attend. So there will be clearly an impact on the conference, and also my suspicion is that this is likely to increase and happen more often as more such events take place in Pakistan. Megha.
Okay. Let's also hear the point of view of Amjad Ayub Mirza. He is a Pakistan-occupied Kashmir activist. Amjad Ayub Mirza, you have spoken at length about this subject, about the liberation, freedom movement of the Balochis. There has been a terror attack. There are 22 people who have died. In a situation such as this, do we see there is going to be the frequency of such attacks that is only going to intensify in the coming years, and what is going to be the end result of it?
Well, I think that these incidents are not going to end anytime sooner. Pakistan army is calling it military operation. I call it civil war. This is basically a civil war going on between the Baloch people and the state of Pakistan, and similarly in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa as well. And Pakistan, every nook and corner of Pakistan is now protesting against the Pakistani state. Today, 11th of October, in POJK city Bagh, thousands of people are protesting against Pakistan, and they are calling it awareness event, but it is against the atrocities of Pakistan. So it's not only Balochistan. If you look at left, right and center, everywhere Pakistan has entangled itself in its own contradictions and in constant mode of denial is one of the reasons that they cannot even address the issue, even begin to address the issue. But these incidents are going to intensify. I don't see any reconciliation between the government of Pakistan and those who are fighting against this government.
Okay. Professor Madan Alapat, let's try to understand the sentiment behind the people who are fighting this war in a bid to gain their independence? I mean, there is a narrative that goes about talking about the liberation movement, like I said, in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. We take a look at Balochistan, other parts of Pakistan. But at this point of time, when we see an SEO summit that is taking place and it's happening in just a few days' time, do you think Pakistan becomes a place that can be seen as a safe country to hold such international summits?
Well, the short answer, the obvious answer is no, Megha. I'd like to point out that whether it is Baloch or Pashtun or Sindhis, there's a very active expatriate community of Baloch, Pashtun, Sindhis, and these communities are very unhappy because the Pakistan state has been deploying the ISI to harass some of the activists who are demanding greater rights and frankly some of them also demanding freedom. So this is what is happening. At the same time, when you're talking about the SEO summit, the reality is that a summit like this will draw international media attention, especially because Prime Minister Modi and President Xi are coming for that. And that being the case, it's quite obvious that that there will be an effort by groups that are interested in more rights for the Pashtun, Baloch, Sindhi, and of course the occupied Kashmir, the people who are being suffering for so long in occupied Kashmir. There will definitely be a focus on attacks during this period because of the media attention, and secondly because the police forces will be occupied significantly in providing security to the many world leaders who are coming for a summit. On the case of India, of course, in the case of India, frankly, Prime Minister, Xi Jinping will be there, Putin will be there. There's no question about it. And that will ensure media attention because now China and Russia, as a consequence of the Ukraine war, are joined together against the Western countries in what I call Cold War 2.0. So there is a logic of these groups in staging more attacks during a period when an international summit is taking place. And again, I come back to your question and the short answer, Pakistan is clearly not a place where any international or inter-regional summit should take place. There's no question about it. It was a mistake to hold the SCO in Pakistan. I am sure China would have insisted that Pakistan be chosen. And very frankly, today what you're seeing in Balochistan, the latest incident in which some 20 people have been killed,